So the other day I did a video reacting to who owns the AFL clubs, and that was interesting because it is something completely alien to me being a soccer fan. Now today I am going to look at the draft system. Once again, it's something that is completely alien to me, but I am open-minded. I may like it, I may not like it. Keep watching to find out, and if you do enjoy the video, like and subscribe. Let's go.
Welcome back to our AFL Explained series. In this playlist, we'll break down key facets of the game, helping you transition from a casual footy fan to the resident expert of...
That's going to be me soon. That is going to be me. The outsider is going to be the resident expert. You wait for it. You wait for it. And all you Aussies that say, oh, stay away from our game, you are going to be shitting yourselves.
Of your friends or office. In this episode, we'll look at how the AFL National Draft works. The first VFL preseason draft was held in 1986, and while the rules around AFL recruitments have changed constantly since then, the basic principle of the draft remains the same.
That's really interesting how it's actually fairly modern of a concept for AFL or VFL back then. You would have thought it had been going longer, and it's interesting to wonder why they started the draft in 1986 and not earlier or not later.
To keep the competition even. As such, the draft order is decided by reversing the finishing order of the season just gone. The Wooden Spooners pick first and the Premiers last. Teams eliminated in the same week of finals are separated by their ladder position. Multiple drafts are now held across the course of the year, but the focus centres on the National Draft, where the best young talent from across the country finds out if they'll live their AFL dream. In order to be eligible for the National Draft, players must turn 18 by the 31st of December that year and not currently be tied to an AFL club.
So it's only for young players? Because I'm pretty sure I knew that for American football. But how much? Yes, you may get the star of tomorrow, but you're not necessarily getting the star of today. So how much does it actually improve your team? And I'm wondering how can for example, Buddy Franklin went from Hawthorn to Sydney. Was he transferred? Was there money involved? Was it just a swap of players?
Prior to the draft, the top 100 or so young players across the country are invited to the draft combine, where they showcase their skills, athletic ability, and personality to recruiters.
So it is more or less the same as the NFL, because they have an NFL combine. I don't understand why it's called combine, but I think it's the combination of lots of physical tests. I don't know.
Players must then inform the AFL of their intention to nominate for the draft. Only players who have nominated are eligible to be selected. The National Draft then takes place over the course of 5 rounds, and the order of the assigned picks for each round is the same. Each pick is used to select a player from the remaining pool of nominees. Teams are required to select a minimum of 3 players at the draft, and must enter the season with between 38 and 40 players on their main lists.
Is that a lot of players? I know you guys, you have 15 players, and you rotate and you have subs, but 38 to 40 seems a lot. I know you have your reserve teams in the second division, but it seems a lot. I think I'm getting it wrong slightly. I think the 40 isn't necessarily that are going to play in the first team. I think that is your overall squad, and you chuck a load in the reserves.
Plus 9 rookies. This is why you often see clubs delisting players prior to the draft. Pretty simple so far. The original order of the draft, however, will change dramatically over time as teams exchange draft picks with each other. These picks can be given to another team in exchange for players, or simply just other draft picks. Teams are also allowed to trade the future draft picks they'll receive in the next season. Last year, further chaos was added as the teams are now able to trade selections while the draft itself is happening.
That seems to just confuse things, in that you can almost give up your right to get a draft to trade your draft pick to get a player instead, an already established player. So it could be great. You could then pick two potentially very good players in the future. It seems confusing.
The system is then complicated further by the very exciting draft value index the AFL introduced in 2015, which gives each draft pick a points value. Pick 1 is worth 3,000 points, down to pick 73 worth only 9 points, and then 0 points for pick 74 and beyond.
Or you'd be gutted if you were number 74 or 75. Actually, I don't think you would be necessarily gutted, because you could be at a very good club and earning money. Yeah, a bit of a difficult situation. You pick last, but you're getting paid to play for an AFL team.
Teams are given the right to nominate players they wish to add to their lists from their own academies, as well as the sons of players who played over 100 games for their club, known as father-son selections.
I like that idea, actually, that you're allowed to choose. If a dad played for the team, then the son you're allowed to automatically get. I think that sounds right.
Opposing clubs have the option to bid for academy or father-son players with their own picks. The points value of this bid must then be matched using the recruiting club's picks if they want to hold on to their player. Don't get it? Fair enough. Jump forward to the year 2040 with us, and pretend for a moment that the AFL has inexplicably not changed its rules for the last 20 years. Anatoly Rioli, the fictional son of Hawk star Cyril, has just turned 18, and Hawthorn plan to recruit him as a father-son selection. However, the Dockers, still searching for their first premiership, know that
That's definitely a dig, isn't it? That is definitely a dig at Dockers.
That every team who drafts a Rioli wins a flag. When their turn comes, they bid for Rioli with pick 7, worth 1,644 points on the draft index. A discount of 20% is applied to bids made in the first round, and a flat 197 point discount after that, meaning the Hawks must pay 1,315 points for Anatoly. They have picks 14, 39, 41 and 75. The Hawks decide to match the bid and must use their next available draft picks to pay for pick 7. After spending pick 14, they still require 154 points. These come from the next pick, number 39. After spending that, there are still 292 points left over. This buys them pick 49. In summary, the Hawks give picks 14 and 39. They get Rioli at number 7 and get back pick 49. Freo then get pushed back to pick 8. And everyone else slides forward or back accordingly. Had no one bid for Anatoly, the Hawks could select him with whatever pick they like. However, this is uncommon for high-profile prospects. The number of players...
This is so confusing. And it might be something that you're used to if you're a fan, but from an outsider, this is now the most confusing thing about AFL that I have witnessed. It just doesn't make sense, or I don't think it's that it doesn't make sense but it doesn't. But I think it's going straight over my head what is being said. The whole picking, the points value, who puts a points value on that player? Like, who says that player is better than that player? The whole moving about, being able to trade picks, that is ridiculous.
Selected at the draft varies each year. While the National Draft is the most direct route to an AFL club, if a player misses out, it's by no means the end of their dream, as the rookie draft is still to come. Would like an area of AFL explained?
So, I just... So really, the draft is... Actually, I don't necessarily see it... From what I'm looking at now, I'm not seeing it as a way to level out teams. What I'm seeing it as, yes, potentially, you are potentially getting the next Buddy Franklin, Cyril Rioli, Eddie Betts. You are potentially getting it. However, you could have a complete flop. So, actually, by the looks of it, it's not an evening out process of clubs. Just from watching this video, I may be completely wrong. All right, I may be completely wrong. I don't know. I think so. It's only really working on young players, by the sounds of it. Then this is only working on young players that don't have a team yet, or potentially do have a team but are still academy players. I think it's a better idea. So this is my opinion, just from watching this video and having experience of academies. I think, I also understand that some areas aren't as AFL orientated, Aussie rules orientated as others, because you've got rugby league, for example, that also dominates. However, your clubs have academies, yeah? They have academies. I would believe that trying to produce your own talent is better than the draft, in my opinion. Try and get your own talent, and you can work on them and whatnot with your academies. Do you really need the draft system to get new young players? I don't think so. I don't like it. I'm sorry, I don't like it. I don't understand how players are transferred to other clubs. Is that a normal thing where you buy a player from another club, like in football, soccer? I'm more confused than I was before, I think. I thought it was, first of all, I thought it was established players that were drafted, but it's obviously not. It's only young players. But I just don't see why you can't do that with your own academies. Get players from your own academies that then can go into your first team. And like I said, I understand some areas of the country aren't as AFL orientated, so you might not get as much of the talent. But that's just the way it goes. Maybe you can entice them to move to your area and join your academy. It just seems strange. It seems strange, and it doesn't seem to even out the clubs, because you're not necessarily getting the best player. By finishing bottom, you're not necessarily getting the best player from your first pick. You are potentially getting the best player in 5 years' time, but seems very hit and miss, I don't know. If I'm honest, going from my opinion from after watching this video, it's a no from me. Feel free to explain anything I didn't understand, because there was probably quite a bit I didn't understand. And I would also like, if you know a video of how established players are transferred to other clubs, please let me know. I hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you next time.